Justin Britt will not play this week. As I've told you, he's been out for personal reasons. We'll be able to give you more information a little bit later on today, but he will not play this week.
Can you say anything beyond that, Levy?
Right now, that's all I can say is that.
Is Scott the guy?
All right, so Justin Britt will not play Sunday. He's missed the last 3 days of practice, and it has been listed as personal reasons. That was Lovie Smith about 20 or so minutes ago. So Scott Quessenberry, of course, will line up will be center for the Texans. This comes after Justin Britt had a subpar performance.
Yeah, he was bad.
Against the Colts.
I had a couple things up here. First off, he played poorly on Sunday. Second, in that game on Sunday, he did go to the medical tent for a little bit of time. Third, you hear him evaluate his performance this week, and he was very critical of himself.
And sounded really down and out.
Add it all up, would you be surprised if he retires?
No.
Especially if you're out for personal reasons for a couple of days. Sometimes you realize you just don't have it anymore. And it comes at you really quick in this league. We were just talking about it in the last segment with Darrelle Revis. When Darrelle Revis lost his fastball as a top shutdown corner, I mean, it happened very quickly. It happened almost overnight. Such a violent and brutal game, and most guys only last 3 years. Britt did play most of his career in Seattle. He suffered a couple of pretty big-time injuries while he was in Seattle as well. I remember it. I think it was my first year there where he got injured, and this guy named Joey Hunt had to supplant him. So if we're just taking a look at it right now, he being out for Sunday's game against Denver, Vanessa, that does not make me feel very good about the Texans' ability to potentially go in there and have yet another surprising beginning to a game, much like on Sunday against Indianapolis, where they were out to a 20-3 lead at one point.
Yeah, the offensive line was not gelling. There was miscommunication. There were bad snaps. It was definitely one of the downfalls of the game for sure. This doesn't make you feel better. Yeah, he's 31 years old, which in the NFL is old. Don't get mad because I'm not saying you're old. I'm saying in the NFL, 31 is old. So I think he definitely could be inching towards retirement. I don't even think Lovie really tried to hide it. He couldn't say much, but he said, quote, we'll have the update later. So seems like that's a possibility. Let's talk about that game Sunday against the Broncos. What would make you guys feel good about Davis Mills? Not saying they have to get the win, but what would make you say, okay, maybe he's trending in the right direction?
Well, I mean, number one, obviously play well, but I think more importantly, don't get rattled when you get hit. I'm concerned about what I saw from him after that blindside sack he took. You got to get right back up, and you got to be confident in yourself. And it felt like he was skittish as the game went on. And I'll specifically point to this one play where there wasn't really any pressure on him. He had more time than I think he expected. He got happy feet. He starts tap dancing around out there. And he threw an awful pass afterwards. He got rattled. You're going to play against the Denver team without Justin Britt, who is the offensive lineman who is supposed to direct all the communication that you generally get at the line of scrimmage. This is a new offensive line that's still gelling. It's going to take them some time, I think, to be the best version of themselves, seeing as they're adding a rookie in Kenyon Green into the mix. And, you have some guys back, Laramie Tunsil, who wasn't there last year. Titus Howard is moving back to his natural position. Like, it's going to take them time. And now all of a sudden you're putting Scott Quessenberry into that center role.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. Man, you got loud crowd noise, and you got Bradley Chubb that's potentially going to get you a couple of times. He had 2 sacks this past week. Mills has to just be ballsy. He can't get rattled. And I just don't think that this is a great environment to avoid that. I think there's a real chance. But if he's able to take a couple of hits, a couple of sacks, and he gets through it, okay, maybe I'll start to feel a little more confident about Davis Mills. But based off of what I saw last week, if that's happening at home, that's probably going to be even worse on the road.
I want to see him and Dameon Pierce connect as well. Lovie said we should see more of Pierce this week in Denver. Sean, what would make you feel better about Davis Money Mills?
Being able just to attack downfield, I would say that's really the thing where that's what takes you from being like, oh, he's a decent guy, he can make some reads, check down when he needs to where like defenses actually have to like fear you a little bit if you can take the top off. And he has some, I mean, their weapons aren't awesome, but Brandon Cooks played well enough against the Colts. Nico Collins did not. He just seemed like they just weren't on the same page, or he wasn't getting open. Just getting more threats downfield instead of just, O.J. Howard, 2 touchdowns,
right,
and checking down a lot to, the tight ends and running backs. I just need to see more dynamic play from them.
That makes sense. You covered Russ for a couple years. So what's this Russell Wilson offense? What challenges could it bring for the Texans defense?
Well, I think the big thing with Russ is that he likes to throw it deep. And do you feel that Derek Stingley Jr., Steven Nelson are going to be up for the challenge when they are matched up against very good wide receivers? I thought Russ looked a little rusty in week 1. That could be a sign of what will happen for Denver all year long. But one of the things that Russell Wilson is best at, he might have the best deep ball accuracy in the entirety of the NFL. Did not look that way on Monday. I thought that touchdown pass he had to Jerry Jeudy was underthrown. But this is a real test for those defensive backs. I thought Steven Nelson passed the test. I don't think Stingley was really challenged all that much. And, when Cody Stutz and I, who does the Wheelhouse right here on ESPN 97.5.
3 to 7.
He was sitting next to me and was commenting on how the Texans defensive backs were really playing off the line of scrimmage and were giving a lot of cushion. And I think for a lot of defenses, that's the natural way to go about things in 2022, prevent the big plays and force a quarterback like Russell Wilson to work with things in front of him. I think that you're going to see more of that. And the real trick for this game is going to be whether or not Russell Wilson, who historically has not done this, decides, hey, I'm going to look over the middle of the field. I'm going to try to attack the Texans linebackers who aren't very good in coverage. For example, Cameron Grugier-Hill. Rough day in coverage, right? Do you feel good about really any of those Texans linebackers in coverage?
For. And if he plays like that again, that's missed by me because I was really confident in him going into this season.
But Vanessa, it's hard. It's hard for any linebackers in coverage too. I'm not going to throw him completely under the bus. Like, there's a lot of guys who can't cover that play linebacker in this league, and Denver will have things open over the middle of the field. Russ has to take them. And historically, Russ will ignore what's right in front of him, and might be because he's short. He's 5'11". He will avoid things that are right in front of him, and he will go to the sidelines, and he will try to chuck the football down the field. You can take a look at his passing charts over the last couple of years. Like, that's what he does. And if you keep things in front of you, I feel like you can handle at the very least the passing game. The running game, I don't know. Like, Denver ran the ball, they just fumbled, and I feel like I feel less confident about the offense, but I actually do feel okay about the defense going into this game, just based off of Russell Wilson and the way that he's played historically.
Let's talk about Russell Wilson and his response to the game of which they lost. This is Russ to his team and what he said to his team.
I was telling him, I said, listen, the thing about great teams is they always respond. If you want to be a championship team, you got to respond. So how are we going to respond today? And then we got it down the day tomorrow, hopefully. God wakes us up. We got another day to do it again and another day to do it again. It's all about response. It's all about attitude. It's all about mentality, language, staying focused on the task.
It is insufferable.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to be more positive going forward.
Yeah, positive fall.
I put out a poll yesterday, and I was asking, like, hey, am I too negative? And most people said yes or yes, but that's why we like you. So
is that why you're being is that why you're feeling bad?
No, I'm not feeling bad.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a little more fair with things. And I'll agree with Russell Wilson. I would love to have God wake me up every single day because I snooze too much. I press the snooze button a lot.
A little dark there in the middle, Russ, but overall good message. Overall good message.
Overall, yeah, we'll see. Also, is it Dov Kleiman?
I don't know. He blocked me.
Why did he block you?
Because I've basically just been calling him out with he thinks Belichick's a terrible coach.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
He had this whole thing like 2 years ago, and I was like, dude, like, give it a rest. Like, we get it. Brady with Belichick without Brady, he's not as good as he was before. But like, stop acting like Belichick, the guy who was one of the architects of the Giants defense in the 80s. That wasn't a good coach.
Kleeman, I don't know. Russell Wilson tweeted out this video of Russell Wilson on the Broncos sideline demanding that his guys yell run or pass to help the defense against the Seahawks.
Hey, sideline, run or pass. Hey, you got to let them know. Come on, commit to it. You got to let them know. Run or pass. Let's go. Got to let them know. Run or pass. Run or pass. Let them know. 9-6. Let them know. Run or pass. Let them know. Run or pass. Nice and loud. Pass.
Again, I'm going to try to be fair here. We're turning over a new leaf.
Commit to it.
Well, I'll let Vanessa laugh just to know that's what's going on in my head. What Vanessa's laughing at.
Somebody come to the gym and yell at me. Commit to it.
I gotta say, in this moment, it's very unlikely that defenders are going to hear you yell run or pass from the sideline. Very unlikely. at Lumen Field, which is one of the louder stadiums in the NFL. But respect to Russ for being as unlimited as possible.
I don't like positive Paul.
That is a teammate.
Nope.
I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm not.
Do you like positive Paul, Sean?
What? I have to be fair.
Not with Russ.
Yeah.
I think you get a get out of positive Paul jail free card.
No,
with Russ.
sometimes you got to zag.
Go back to being the girl I used to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to zag. What? I'm trying new things.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
What would the old Paul
Yeah.
say about
The old Paul would say, Jesus Christ, shut up, Russ.
There you go.